because they believe in you're white. You're white, you cannot be a believer with them. You're white. They're racist. A bunch of racist. No. Ask them in life, Muhammad only has to be a black.
They're always like this, they'll never shut up.
You see here, we built this whole earth. You see us, we the salt of this earth, man. Without us, there's no flavour. So if we was to go back, and leave this place would start tomorrow. This place would crumble, man, if we was to leave. With that say shalom, that's all I wanted to say.
Make some noise in the planet.
I.S.U.P.K.
From the I.S.U.P.K. We're here at the Windrush March, all the Akiyamia, you know what I mean? For all you that don't know what the Windrush is, the Windrush is the boat that the Caribbeans came on in the 40s. And the Windrush generation, the people that came to England in that generation, at the time, they was given British citizenship, Slovakia, and now England wants to kick them out after all the hard work they've done, after slavery, after fighting in the army. You know what I mean? After working the coal mines, now they want to kick us home. Now they want to kick us out. So we're going to ask a few brothers at the Windrush Rally and see what I go on. We're ready, yeah?
Right, they were godparents. They grew me. I know the history. I know what they had to go through in the 60s because they was here and they explained it to me. Yeah? And I am highly honored to be a part of it. That was so exciting when they got the news that they could travel and go to England, right? Go to England and help to build England. Look at this place here. They helped to do this. My parents helped to do this. My godparents helped to do this. And then when you look, and I saw on the news, the amount of people that has helped build this country and got deported because they never signed the document. Can I explain something to you? Now he is also
It's not our religion.
It's our religion.
Yeah.
Is he here as well? It's assault.
You never eat nobody. All you need to do is your virgin. No, listen. Let him talk. You've been talking. No, this is our faith. I come from Now we start preaching.
He has a right to talk also. He has a right. Who said which religion is right? Who said which religion is right? It's my God, Dana. It's my God, Dana. It's my God, Dana. Islam does my God. Believe. My God rise every day. My God, see the black God there. See the black God there. I want to know. A different black one.
Then you say what you got to say. It's simple.
Doing this country.
Establish a foundation. When you say what you say, then you can say what you
They're not because they believe in you're white. You're white, you cannot be a believer with them. You're white. They're racist. A bunch of racists. No. Ask them a light to Muhammad. Only have to be a black.
They're always like this. They'll never shut up. It doesn't matter who
Pierce did what? Shut up in the class.
What is the outcome? What is the outcome?
When you
want a meeting to this man?
No, but
this man only just get the post.
No, but answer the question, right?
But he don't want to answer the question.
No, take the mic and say a lady has just take the mic and say a lady has just asked me a very important question. And just tell everybody one time, no. You know, she has to shout and make a white man hold up no windows.
When they done this, we negative. That's not me negative.
Who knew this was I'm walking through town and
I saw it.
How much thousands of people were there come from? Today would have been the point to ask them people were coming at the window to come up here. Together the people they don't carry them up here. How much? Look at we. This is what we have to. This is why more white people vex about this window thing.
Damn black people.
Me come back from Jamaica last week, Monday the 17th and the 19th. I went to the House of Commons and stood there with Diane Abbott and David Lamont and Don Butler and asked them right question. No, nobody tell me what we're supposed to do. I'm good up, they got asked the question. Keep their calipata. It's all them solidarity bullshit that come on that 100 flag. We want to talk about what's happening in a familiar. This is the reason we get missed out because everything we do we have to group it in with somebody else. You understand me?
Otherwise we not do nothing.
You know, all them solidarity paper and all that. Them not care about this is an opportunity to flag towards for them something. You understand me? You need to even talk about people where I come from, where we are come from. You understand me?
And that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're not interested in no PPE. I'm not interested in no coolie man over there. I'm not interested in no mixed man over there. I'm interested in fluid thing. You understand me? The more we water down this windrush thing, the more it's going to get. You understand me? You have to stay on the same argument.
Alright,
you have to stay in the same argument. If you start...
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, man, ask away.
No wrong answer about this. You said you're born in the 60s, yeah?
1960, man, I'm 57, man.
Alright, cool. So would you ever... You've been called Gollywog before or
That's
nigga?
what we call all them things here.
Okay, so do you think there's light or hope in this country for the black man? I'll break it down for you. Number one, we were slaves. The finances made this country. Then we fought in World War II, lost our lives. After that, came to this country, called Gollywog as you can relate.
Yeah, man.
After that, riots, Notting Hill riots, black police brutality, Mark Duggan. After all of that, now we must go home.
No.
What do you think about that?
But here the thing is here, right? You have to understand the psyche and the mentality of the whole thing, right? You see, when we come here in 1971, between the 70s to the 80s and the 90s, it was never taught to me that it's cool to be black and British, whether you like the talk or not. So you hear what happened there now? We've never planted the tree, bro. We've always been on the outside. You see, Answorth, when we have a party of the years, talk is straight. to you as a youth, right? When the first riot happened here, the place flattened. You know what happened? The Asian community stopped, build it as a unit, yeah? The lot, Fui generation and Fui parents, you know what they did? Them disappear and live amongst white people, right? So you find say no, that's why we don't have the thing, brother.
Okay, so would you say the solution to this is separation?
No, the solution to this is to tell the youth and what them never tell the king, man. You see me? I went to work for Birmingham City Council. I not hide kind of thing, yeah? And I never know. I happened to be, I was chairman of Black Workers Supporters Group representing blacks within the department, yeah? I went on Unison board, right? And what I find out is, brother, yeah? The one place the man them don't want we is in the council house where the decision make, right? So we need the next set of youth them now to get into the thing so them can make the decision for the future, brother. We could demonstrate as much as we want, but if you're not there, how are you going to change it? Because it's like, if you don't have an outcome to what you do, yeah, it's not going to happen. Our parents, them, right, we never plant the tree. And even when they did plant the tree, it's like, look at it this way, you plant the tree grow, right? And when the tree are blossom, what we do? We pull it up and say we'll go somewhere else. Plant the tree.
Alright, but the ranking I gotta go, yeah?
Alright, Ray, I need to ask you a question. So what do you think about this Windrush scandal that's going on?
It's an embarrassment, it's a disgrace. When our parents, our grandparents have come here and as citizens, I'm fed up of the term that they are a part of this hostile environment. They're not immigrants, they're not illegal immigrants. They came here, they were invited, they built and helped rebuild a country that was down on its knees. And to see what they're doing to these guys who are now in their 50s and 60s is an utter disgrace, and it's a shame.
I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
So do you think, us as black people, do you think we put too much trust in Theresa May and other nations? Do you think we put too much trust in them?
I mean, we will never totally gain the respect or the support from a nation that if we don't do things for ourselves, and I hear that. But we have to also, I believe we have to be equally careful in a world where we try to do things by ourselves and totally negate everybody that's around us, kind of thing. If we can change the hearts and the minds of those that are against us, then that's a journey we have to try. But yeah, oftentimes self-sufficiency, doing our own thing is the only way we're going to get things changed and make a difference. Yeah?
That's right, sure. So when you see places like Chinatown, how they've got their own community and everybody that works there is Chinese and whatnot, do you feel like we should have our own community where we have our own stuff?
Well, you know, when you look at Answorth and places like that, we have our own communities. Our biggest problem is that we don't buy into our own businesses. We don't support our own people. So it's not necessarily about we must create, you know, a Caribbean town or a Jamaican town or whatever. Just support the businesses, our black writers, our black artists, our black businesses, black food, support it, feed it, and put the money into that. Equally, those guys that are in charge or managers of these things, give back to your communities, remember where you come from. So I'm not too fussed about creating some little Jamaican town, but what I will fuss about is that we need to feed and support our own black entrepreneurs and businesses.
Sorry, bro, can I ask you one quick question, yeah? Do you think there's light at the end of the tunnel for black people in this country? I'll break it down for you. Number one, we were slaves. And the money that we cut Cain to make this country rich, that was number one. And we thought there was light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we voted, fought in World War II, had the limbs blown off, you know, didn't see our children again, died. Still no light at the end of the tunnel. Invited to England in the 40s, worked in the coal mines, worked in the coal mines, worked hard, called Gollywog, get back on the jam jar, still fought the riots, fought before the police, still fought, voted for Theresa May, put in office, calls herself black British. After all of this, we must go home. What do you think the future for the black man in England is?
You put a good argument, man. Put a good argument forward.
Okay, we're here with the brother Lewis. We're gonna ask you a few questions, Lewis. Yeah. Do you think there's light? Do you think there's a future for the black man in England? I'll break it down for you. Number one, we were slaves, and the money that we worked built this country up. Then after that, we came in the war and died. After that, we was invited to England. It was called Gollywog. Get back to the jam jar. No black people allowed. After that, we fought riots like Notting Hill riots, carnivals and so forth. Then we experienced stop and frisk, police brutality, Mark Duggan, Sean Charles. After all of this, now we must go home. What do you think about that? We voted for Theresa May. We want to be black British. And the same woman we voted for purposely lost our documents, so we must go home.
Well, that's totally injustice. They themselves know that's totally injustice. What they are doing, no doubt about it. It's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. I believe the Windrush saga is just to not paying those people their pension and so forth, you know what I mean, and try to keep Britain, you know, as with the Brexit thing, white, you know, get rid of. You have to remember that. I think with the black people here, they are the minorities, and you see with black people, they need to like unite, come together. This is why these kind of things really happen to them. If they were more like the Asian people to pull together, then, you know, they wouldn't really have the opportunity to do those kind of things with them, you know. This should be a lesson to them to come together and, you know, stand as one and be as one, you know what I mean.
Yes, Shalom, this is the UPK. We got Brother Conscious here. So, on the Windrush, what's your thoughts about it? Do you know what I mean? Do you think something accidental or is something that the white man's using that in a general term is doing to get rid of us?
The latter. Basically, they wanted us to build up the country. We've done that. And now they're trying to get rid of everybody. And it's as simple as, basically, I wouldn't exist without the Windrush. My grandparents came over here in the 50s. Obviously, I'm second generation, so this affects everybody after the Windrush who come from Caribbean, you know, so.
I got you. So now, you do think it's rough that, like, we have contributed a lot. We came over here, NHS, factory, well, you know what I mean? Everything is on the backs of us. And then there's no remorse of, well, hang on. To be fair, these descendants have made England what it is now. Have in mind, everyone all over Europe from, you know what I mean, Yugoslavia, Romania, they want to come here for our work, but basically.
The thing is, England's built off culture, different cultures, like Caribbean specifically, yeah. Obviously, the carnival brings everybody together. That was down to us. There's a whole heap of things, yeah, that are in place now, wouldn't be without the Windrush generation. Simple as, man. It's sad to see that the people are going on like this, but at the end of the day, we've known it for a long time, and now the truth's come out, you know, so it's a united thing, man. We just have to support each other and be united and work through this in a positive way.
I got you. So the last thing, what do you think we should do next? Like, for instance, if you look around, every race has their own way of where they keep to themselves, their own shops and everything. So do you think that's how we should be?
To be honest, yeah, I think we should have, like, I can't remember if it's the 1920s or whatever, in America, they had a city, obviously, black-owned banks, this, that and the other, yeah, and then it was bombed. You know what I mean? We do need to go back still. We need to have our own. Like, Chinese have their own, Indians have their own. Every other race has their own. Yeah, and that's why we're still in this problem now, because everybody's trying to take what's rightfully ours, and it needs to stop.
Yeah, can't. That's bang on. So yeah, man, this is the UPK. We spoke with
Conscious.
Yeah, man, I'm learning from you.
Alright, Shalom, the I.S.U.P.K, Israelite we've been watching the news about Windrush and whatnot. We've got all the books, all the history books. Now, black people came here from the 40s. We also fought in World War I and World War II. We died in those wars. We died in World War I and World War II. And then when you go to London, to Brixton, they got a little monument for black people, but then they got the big monument in central London where they don't group us with them, so they've already separated themselves from us. Also, when we first came to England, the price that we was paying rent on one bedroom, next Caucasian family could get a whole house for that price. Also, if I was working, what they was paying us was minimum. So we've been getting treated bad all along. Also, it's good that everybody came out, but if this was something to do with a Jewish Holocaust, the whole street would be full. But because this is black people from Jamaica, hardly nobody out here. You know why? Because nobody don't care about our pain. Nobody don't care about our plight or nothing. They say that now the same with immigrants, but really, we've been over here from the 40s. We had papers. We didn't come here illegally on the back of the lorry. But guess what? People come here illegally. They let them seek asylum. But with us from Jamaica, they want to send us back home. I think it's time for us to go back. Also, another thing. Now we've been here at the bottom for so long. So see, other communities like Chinatown, they're flourishing because they all join together. Now, what we should take from this green rush is it's time for black people to stand up and be together and come back and be one and do what we need to do. So we need to get our own businesses and so forth. Because from the 40s, also the next thing that we start after World War I and World War II, we thought, okay, we're citizens here now. Now, straight after that, what they said to us after the war was finished, they said, when are you going home? After they told us we can stay here, so we thought this was home. So guess what? It's time we gather ourselves together. Can you put the scripture from Zephaniah 2:1? Now this is a scripture out of the Bible. Read the scripture.
Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together.
So the Bible says gather yourselves together. That man, we need to gather ourselves together because we've been divided for too long. And while we're divided, we've been destroyed, man. And we've been ill-treated. We've been the time us to go back home and so forth. Freedom.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
The Bible says a nation not desired. We that nation that's not desired. We that nation that nobody cares about. We that nation that came over here legally and want to send us back home. Meanwhile, everybody came over here illegally and they still get to live here. They get to seek asylum. They get the best houses in the best communities. Where do you put us? You can't all of us in the ghetto. That's what happens to us. And they put us all in house estates. Read that scripture for me one more time.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation.
So the Bible says gather yourselves together. So it's time we gather ourselves together and come together and be the people that God chose us to be, man. Because we are strong people. We built everything you see here. We built this whole earth. You see us? We the soul of this earth, man. Without us, there's no flavor. So if we was to go back, and leave this place would start tomorrow. This place would crumble, man, if we was to leave. With that, say shalom. That's all I wanted to say.
Nobody tell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it works, son.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good wreck. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how do you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword.